So everybody has this theory that 2012, or a lot of people have this theory. 2012, we all got like it was the actual end of the world, but we got transported to a different universe or like parallel universe, and that's where we're seeing all these different things that what we remember to be like the real thing is now different. For example, the Pringles can. It has a different icon. It looks different now. Fruit Loops. It used to be Fruit. Now it's Froot. Like it's different things like that. So, what's your thought on that? Do you believe it? What's
See, the human brain plays a lot of tricks on itself. Because if you have a vague memory, your brain is going to put whatever makes sense in there. Like, if you have a vague memory of like a day in high school, your brain's going to use other memories that you have of high school to put more detail into it. If that makes sense, you know. And I think I've heard what you were talking about on like 2012. The world ended as we knew it.
uh-huh.
But I feel like that's like a lot of conspiracy theory type shit.
And see, I like the conspiracy theories type thing because, like, my thing is there. I'm not going to say we're like in a parallel universe or something like that, but there's a lot of different things like growing up that I specifically remember, and like I'll see it or see like these different Mandela effect things, and it's like, wait, am I tripping? Am I, or is it just because this large majority of people are saying they saw this? My brain's like, yeah, we saw that too.
Yeah, like a collective thought process.
Yeah. So it's swaying your opinion unconsciously.
Hmm.
But it goes back to that aspect of, we're all in the matrix, you can never tell if somebody is an NPC. If you walk up to somebody and just say, prove to me you're not an NPC, how would you prove that?
I wouldn't know what I would do if somebody said that to me.
Like, am I supposed to get on all fours and bark all of a sudden or something? Like, but then again, I mean, that's a common thing nowadays too. But that's neither here nor there. Like, what's there's so many different conspiracies like that just play into this Mandela effect, this parallel reality, this the Matrix thing. Like, what does it boil down to?
I think it all just comes down to the individual perception on things. Because like how like if you bring up the Fruit Loop thing, how many kids actually like stared at the cereal box? So your brain is gonna put whatever you think would be on it, whatever would make more sense for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cartoony type of cereal, so of course they would think it's like uh, FOO or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
They wouldn't think it's like spelled out right. And like the Mandela effect is just a change in details with like how it's remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with Nelson Mandela when he was in prison. Everybody thought he died in there, but he didn't. He got out and became the president of South America, I believe it was.
I don't. There's also so I specifically like I know this as fact is what I remember. The kid from Home Alone OD'd, deceased, like he was dead.
See, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so I knew it as fact. Like this happened. I know he OD'd. I know he passed away. He's not dead.
Hmm.
And as far as I've read up, he didn't OD. And I'm still like baffled, confused.
See, I heard about the whole thing with Michael Jackson and him like emancipating himself from his parents or whatever, but I've never heard of Modian. I can't say I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I have no clue. Like it, I remember it as fact. Like that happened.
There was a time he probably was on drugs, but I I don't know. I've never heard of Modine.
Hmm. Welcome to episode 5 of Ideas of a Mad Man. I know it's been going on like 3 weeks. I've been either busy, haven't had it in me to even make an episode, or like now, I'm getting over a cold. If you can't tell in my voice, I sound like shit. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm accompanied by.
Greg Donovan, yours truly.
And today, we're gonna, for the most part, stay a little serious just because, yes, the past few episodes have been way more relaxed or have had easier topics, but I'm not gonna say I'm with a more serious person, but I feel like I can talk about more serious things in this episode, so that's sort of what we're gonna get into. Um, Once again, I don't feel very good, so this episode might be shorter and might be longer. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see where the conversations take us. So, in my opinion, what it takes to make a better you. All right. So I think first and foremost, you have to go your physical health, because if you feel like you look better in the mirror, then that's already going to be a large improvement to your mental health. Next up is taking care of your mental health. You have to make sure you're the best person that you want to be. You have to make sure you're the best person that when others see you, they want to be like you. I mean, that's not going to apply to everybody, but in order to make a better you, you have to have that drive to do things that are going to better your future, better your well being, better your physical, better your mental state. What do you think? What makes you a better you?
I think what makes you a better you is starting off where knowing where you want to change, knowing like what about yourself you want to change. I don't think the steps will probably be different for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because like you can be in good physical shape, but still think of yourself as like a shitty person.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I believe that a lot of people struggle with being a better person mentally than they are physically.
Because it's easy to change your body image. It's harder to change your mental state.
Yeah, because you can go to the gym and get ripped and look good, but that doesn't mean you're gonna think of yourself any different.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta like if there's something about yourself that you don't like, you have to change it. Not necessarily go out and like physically change it. If there's like if you think of yourself as a shitty person, you have to ask yourself why you think you're a shitty person. If you can't find a clear reason why, then it's because you're probably not doing much with yourself. Like for me myself, I noticed that when I was just sitting around a lot more, like I thought of myself as like a bummy person. But when you get out and start doing stuff, for me, I'd just be too busy to think of myself as a shit person.
Mm-hmm. It's like distracting yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people need, a distraction, and they don't have the dedication to make it a consistent distraction.
But even distracting yourself, I mean, if you're distracting from these flaws that you feel that you have, then you're not doing anything to improve or change that mindset. You're just distracting yourself from that change.
The distraction is just a start because if you distract yourself from it long enough, you'll honestly forget about it. That's how I feel. That's just how I go about it. It's what helps me. That's what makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody wants to be a better person. Everybody, some people are okay with just wallowing in themselves.
Existing.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who wants to better yourself, you have to analyze every aspect of your life, like who's around you, what they're around you for, what you do when you're alone, and how you handle yourself in day-to-day activities.
Mm-hmm. Even the people around you can shape how you are as a person. The people around you have a large input to how you're presented. And that's what a lot of people don't actually realize. Like your group of friends, at the end of the day, when you all go out as a collective, people are going to look at you as well as that group of friends. If your
Mm-hmm.
group of friends is acting a fucking fool and you're not, they're going to look at you and say, okay, all of them are just a rowdy bunch. Like they're but it's all shaped on that outside perspective as well. Those friends that you go out and hang with, these are your friends. You call them friends. You like to spend time with them. No matter what you're doing, that's still going to shape. You're going to think that's okay because that's just them.
Yeah, you'll be guilty by association. Like, even if you are like being like a calm, cool, collected person in a group of rowdy assholes, or you're there with them, you are condoning what they're doing. You're making it seem like okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna be bunched in with them.
So at the end of the day, that's the same thing. You're not doing anything to improve yourself if you have this group of friends that's polar opposite from you.
And I think that's when it comes to a physical change and wanting to be better, that's like one thing that not a lot of people are ready for, is to let go of the people around them.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody realizes who's holding them back and how they're doing it. If you're making plans to go to the gym and your friend is just trying to talk you into go to the bar or to the club or something, you may think he's just trying to have a good time and just trying to hang out and stuff, but really he's hindering you from what you want to do.
And you have to set your priorities straight.
Yeah, that's right.
So when I think of things that I have set as priorities, I think of the goals that I want to succeed and accomplish. Like this is one of the things I want to accomplish. I want not necessarily to have a huge following on the podcast. I don't really care about that. I just want my voice to be out there. I want my voice in a different mindset to affect either people my age, younger, or even older. But like the whole focus for this is for me to have my voice out there. It's my biggest goal. Like I consider my job right now to be a stepping stone. It's helping me so I can maintain to do this. But I mean, it's not my only goal. Yeah, everybody has a goal of I want to make money, but I don't care about that. Yeah, I have money to live. I have money to get the things I want when I want them. But you have to have your goals and priorities set so you can actually succeed. If you're not doing anything, if you're not setting these goals for yourself, what are you doing to accomplish anything in your life? What goals are you setting to succeed? And what's holding you back from setting those goals or accomplishing those goals?
I think a lot of people, when it comes to like setting goals and trying to achieve something, they mostly focus on the want. They focus on the end goal of it. They focus on the prize. They don't focus on the road that you have to travel on to get there. And they once they start running into the obstacles, then they feel like their whole plan is thrown off it. But making goals isn't just like writing down what you want and like where you want to be. Making goals is, in a way, like it's like you are setting up your finish line at the end of the road that you're gonna have to travel down regardless. And if you focus more on the finish line, then you're never gonna reach it. You gotta start thinking about the small steps that it's gonna take to get there.
It's like a hill that you have to climb.
Yeah. When like say your goal is become like a boxing champion or something, you're not just gonna walk into a gym and all of a sudden get into a couple of fights and then you get noticed. You're gonna have to spar thousands of rounds. You're gonna have to get into hundreds of fights, and you're gonna have to get hit in the face a bunch of times. Shit. And when anything that could be put as a goal is gonna take work to get to. No matter how bad you want it, there's always gonna be somebody who wants it more.
Mm-hmm.
And that challenge is what makes goals so wonderful. Is because everybody wants something.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has goals, but if you're not going to put in the work for the goals, you don't have the drive, the dedication for it, having goals doesn't mean anything unless you're actually putting effort into them.
And like, I'm not the type of person what was the word for it? Pessimistic? Or is it, yeah, pessimistic? Because optimistic is when you're like, everything has a bright side to it. I'm pessimistic. So I don't make these, in my opinion, unachievable goals. I make a goal that not necessarily is easily accomplishable, but I know what it takes to get there. And anything that I'm doing or not doing to get to that goal, I know who it falls on because there's nobody else but myself. Yes, having the podcast, blow up or other people finding it, whatnot, it's a little optimistic because not everybody gains traction. But I also know, for the most part, what it takes to get my voice out there. I know what it takes to at least start developing a following or at least get my voice out there. There are so many different social media platforms nowadays that it's a lot easier, I mean, whether it be good or bad, to get some type of viewing, to get some type of following, to get some type of voice. Granted, YouTube is my go-to right now, but
Everybody has a first step.
exactly. Like, you have to have not necessarily unachievable goals, but goals that have difficulties and obstacles, but things that you can accomplish. And you know you can accomplish it if you put those right steps forward for it. So we're going to wrap it up with this topic for today. And like I said, I haven't been feeling the best, so it's definitely a shorter episode. However, I feel like this one is way more impactful. It has a few more meaningful topics, and no, they're not always going to be like this, but I felt like after, going on almost 3 weeks of not putting one out there, that this one should have more, nitty gritty. um, so this last topic is more of a personal type thing, is what defines happiness to you? Personally, happiness is, it can be branched off into many aspects of different things that make you happy. Because you could say, money doesn't define happiness or money doesn't make you happy, whatever. But there's different things that you can do with money that will make you happy. There's different things that you can do with people that will make you happy. I wouldn't necessarily say there's a core thing that defines happiness, at least me personally. I consider, genuine quality time with people that I care about to be a happy moment. I live for the memories, the mementos of things. I wear rings and bracelets and different things that define different moments with different people. I consider, like, I have a few clothes that are from different occasions that are a happy memory. I think happiness comes from, first and foremost, the people that you spend your time with and the people that give you the most joy, the most genuine affection and love, whether it be significant other, family, friend, whatever. What defines happiness to you?
What defines happiness to me? I would have to say it's, for me, like what makes me happy is like seeing other people have a good time. That's why I crack a lot of jokes to try to entertain people. Anything that puts somebody in a good mood. I feed off the energy of other people a lot. So if your vibes are like negative and everything, I'm gonna avoid you. But like if I can see that you can have a good time regardless of what's going on, you're probably somebody I like being around. Like if concerts aren't fun for me personally because I don't like going to see um, people perform and stuff on stage, live performances. It doesn't. I'd rather just listen to the music in my headphones, doing my own thing. But being at concerts is a positive vibe because when I look around, everybody around me is having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but to have a good time in that type of situation. Even like when, say, you're playing video games, you're on there with a bunch of the bros and stuff. if you guys are cracking up, having a good time, I don't even have to be winning at the game to have a good time. It's just genuinely, it's the feeling that I get from seeing other people's smiles and everything. I like to see like people have a good time, and that's rare for me. Everybody else has like a happiness. They get their happiness from somewhere else. They focus on their own happiness.
Mhm.
But I like to draw my happiness from other people's happiness. That way it's like a shared thing,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
It's a collective. I get it. Um, so personally, I think that everybody has a different sense of happiness. What brings them that joy? So it's more of a for each person. It's going to be a personal thing of what defines their happiness, and that's a genuine question to it. What defines your happiness? Everybody has a different thing. Everybody has this different thought process to it. I have, I have my cat. He that's my son,
Mhm.
but he brings me joy too. I can be just sitting there wallowing, and he'll come chill, and it's like, okay, I'm content. I'm cool. But at the end of the day, everybody has a different thing. You can't let others define your happiness. That is prime example of you're destined to fail. If you're letting everybody else determine your mood based on how they're feeling, you're not gonna improve. You're gonna drag yourself down by relying on others' mood, others' happiness.
I wouldn't say I rely on other people's happiness. It's just that's what I notice where I genuinely have a good time. Like I can have a good time by myself. I can be happy by myself, but that's like a circumstantial thing. I'll only be happy by myself if I have to.
Mhm.
But what really puts me in a good mood, puts a smile on my face, is like seeing other people be happy. I don't necessarily need to see somebody else be happy to be happy myself, but that's my favorite version of being happy is seeing other people in a good mood. It, it's I guess it does sound like I depend on other people's energy in it, but you spend enough time alone and you realize that you can't give yourself what you want. So you have to go find it in somebody else. Like it is a common thing said you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. But have you ever thought about that some people don't know how to love themselves. Some people need somebody to come in and show them how to love themselves. And then by being shown how to love yourself, it creates like a new feeling inside where you start to realize like you do deserve love and you start loving yourself, and it's just everybody's different.
Mm.
Everybody's really different, and I think everybody knows that like everybody's very individualized, but everybody generalizes at the same time, and we lose focus on the individual. And that's why shit like you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. That's where shit like that comes in. If you focus on individually though, your individual self, then I feel like you can understand more people around you,
Mhm.
especially in terms of like happiness and emotions. By spending time alone and understanding who you are, it can help understand the rest of the world and how you interact with it. Because really, that's where a lot of negativity comes in the world is how people interact with the rest of it.
That's what it boils down to. So we're gonna wrap up here. Um, I'm gonna say episode 6 should be out next week, but at the same time, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm better and have an actual voice back. I hope everybody has a good day. We vibe.